is very long overdue. It took almost several years past my high school years to realize that Disney has been lying to us. Gabriella Montez is the villain, and I will be explaining why.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now come on now.
This is very long overdue. This is very long overdue, and nobody else has the gall, has the wherewithal, has the audacity to talk about something that we've needed to face all these years. The last movie of High School Musical came out in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. And it took almost several years past my high school years.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
Disney has been lying to us. Gabriella Montez is the villain.
Gabriella!
Hey y'all, what's up? It's Chanel's World, and today we are getting into the gets. And we're talking about how Sharpay was really the protagonist of High School Musical, and Gabriella Montez was Troy's greatest antagonist. And I'm gonna explain why, okay? Before I get started about this, I want y'all to know that this is an opinion piece, okay? This is a strong opinion. This is an opinion I felt very strongly for years and years and years on end. And I'm glad that I'm finally getting able to talk about it as I turn 25 and I realize a lot of different things about life. So if you take this super seriously, then that's on you. But babes, High School Musical ended back in 2008. Child, we are in 2025. I'm not gonna be arguing with you guys in the comments about this. I'm not gonna be arguing with you guys at all. I'm simply gonna be defending my position, how I feel about Sharpay and Gabriella Montez and her obvious selfishness with Troy in the entire series of High School Musical. We can agree to disagree, or we cannot agree at all, but yeah. Have a little fun. Today, I have a very difficult task of defending Sharpay Evans, and I will do it to the best of my ability because I actually believe that Sharpay Evans is not the villain throughout this whole story, and especially not to Troy Bolton. The biggest villain, the only villain in my eyes to Troy Bolton is Gabriella Montez, and I'm going to explain why. But to be able to explain why, we have to go through all three High School Musicals. Now, the visuals will be limited as Disney claims all their stuff. They like their stuff, and I'm not trying to get this video taken down. But I am going to do my best to visually, audibly, whateverly, present this to you in a way where you can accept it, because it is, in fact, the truth. Here at Chanel's World, we talk all things pop culture and TV. So if this is more your speed, you already know what to do, friend. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell me if you are understanding what I'm saying, or if you think I'm just being a little delulu bird, okay? Speaking of birds, planes, trains, subscription services, I also got into some Netflix series that is coming out in January that I think you guys are gonna really enjoy. So make sure you watch that video so you don't miss it. And we're also gonna be talking about some comfort shows as well as some messy shows that you need to be watching in 2025. If you enjoy anything about this video, then you're gonna enjoy those, okay? So without further ado, let's get into it.
Singing with you felt like that.
I never thought about singing, that's for sure.
Now, the story of High School Musical goes through these three movies surrounding Troy and Gabriella and their friends. Troy and Gabriella meet High School Musical 1, winter break, and then they do like this little karaoke love thing together, and then they are finding new passions for music and dance. Gabriella is the nerd, and Troy is the jock, okay? He is the basketball player, star basketball player, the jock, the pretty boy of High School Musical High, East High, as they say. Now, as we go through these three movies, we follow Troy and Gabriella as they navigate this world of finding that music and theater are some of their passions, which is weird in a high school where they stick to the status quo. Everybody does what they're good at, and they don't venture off into other things. In the end, through Troy and Gabriella kind of finding their way together and exploring their new passions and things, as well as music and theater, they bring all the school together and have the school realize that they can leave the status quo. They can do things that they normally don't do. They can thrive and have a good time and still somehow be themselves. When I was watching High School Musical, there were several things that I realized. One being that I was lied to about the high school experience and that it's nothing, and I mean nothing, like the movies make it out to be. It's very clear in High School Musical 1, 2, and 3 that the antagonist, though 3 kind of actually shifts the antagonist in a different light, but 1 and 2 definitely show that Sharpay Evans is the antagonist. Sharpay Evans is the driving force driven to separate Troy and Gabriella and to keep everybody stuck in the status quo, doing what they're good at and not venturing out to new things for her own personal gain. And I am here today to tell you that that is a load of High School Musicals 1 centers around Troy and Gabriella, of course, and during the winter break, Troy and Gabriella have a karaoke love moment where they sing "Start of Something New" and realize that this will signify the start of their new relationship, as well as Gabriella Montez starting East High and them building and finding and starting a new hobby, which is singing. Now, once Gabriella transfers to East High, she convinces Troy Bolton to audition for Romeo and Juliet with her, which is something that Troy would never think of doing, as he's only been a basketball player. Sure, he had fun at the karaoke, but he wouldn't consider himself as a singer, especially not in a play. And what would his friends think? And Gabriella's friends are not so welcoming either, okay? They are the nerds. They are the smart girls, the smart geeks, the smart girls, gays, and theys, and they feel that she should be more worried about her studies and focusing on her future versus joining some fuddy-duddy little play. Now, while Troy and Gabriella face opposition from both of their friends, you know, the basketball friends and the geeks and jocks and the gurks, eventually they all come together. They ensure that the play can happen, and Troy and Gabriella have their moment at the very end. And now they're done with all of that, let's talk about what really matters. Sharpay, you see a saboteur. I see a star. Sharpay has had years worth of experience with music, with talent, with singing, with acting. This is her role. This is her life. This is her freshman year of high school. She has to come and she has to submit herself as the popular girl, as the rich girl. Yes, sure, that's all fine and dandy. But as the girl who is that girl on top in drama club, who is the top actress, who is the top singer. She has a reputation to uphold, and she intends to uphold it with every single being in her body. And some of y'all see that as self-serving, but might I add to you that that is ambitious driven. That is so purposeful. And even as a freshman, Sharpay was clear about her future. All of these students, whether going to sticking with the status quo or moving on, they don't know what their future entails for them. But Sharpay, she already knows freshman year. She was born to be a star, and she was going to be the top star, and that's just that on that. So anything that happens in this movie is really Sharpay just trying to cement that she is a star, and with good reason. First of all, let's not even talk about how Gabriella wanted Troy to jump into this musical theater thing. She was trying to come in the gate, having her musical theater friends and all the actors trying to break the status quo and be different and be like nothing ever seen. Sharpay appreciates, she admires, she admonishes what the arts and what theater is to her. So forgive her if she's not super open to the fact that somebody is coming in who doesn't have a real regard for it, who doesn't even really care about it, who just likes to sing and wants to mess everything up and change everything, when Sharpay knows the history and the importance and how big theater and music is, even as a freshman, because she knows what she wants to do.
We need to save our show from people who don't know the difference between a Tony Award and Tony Hawk.
She knows what she wants to do, and this is going to be shown when I talk about these other movies. You're going to really see that Sharpay was really the hero that all of them needed, and they didn't know why. Now, let's talk about Gabriella, because Sharpay, I think that had Gabriella actually had that ambition and that drive and that real interest and understanding of theater, I think she would have still given her hell. Okay, because she is meant to be the star. She is going for what she wants to. She wants to be the popular girl on top when it comes to theater, when it comes to acting. She knows and takes it over to the top because she knows how important theater and drama and acting and singing is. And so she's going about it. And I think she would have still given Gabriella hell. But the fact that Gabriella is just like seeing this as a hobby or something to do, it simply does not fly with Sharpay, and for good reason. When this is your life, when this is what you do, you're not interested in nobody that's coming in trying to see this as a hobby or trying to see this as this and that and then finding success and victory. Absolutely freaking not. So no, I do not fault Sharpay at all for giving Gabriella and Troy a hard time. Now, I really do fault Gabriella Montez. And think about this here. First things first, Gabriella sported this idea of breaking the status quo. Now, Gabriella doesn't know of a status quo because Gabriella Montez has been jumping from school to school. So Gabriella doesn't even have a sense of identity. Even though she is strong in the academics, she still wants to teeter here and teeter there and do all of this stuff everywhere, where really she needs to be focused on building her identity when it comes to academics, not when it comes to plays and Romeo and Juliets and singing out of nowhere. Absolutely freaking not. But Gabriella already doesn't have an identity. She doesn't have a real personality. Good grades and knowledge and education and academics, that just helps her get by and recognized in different schools. But that's not her identity. That's not her true identity. She's used to not staying at the same pace. She's used to being the person that breaks the status quo because she comes in the middle of the school year, or she goes to a different school, and she builds friends and then she has to move on. So Gabriella does already not have any stability. So of course she's not gonna like the status quo. Like, that's just like, come on, let's be real. Let's talk about it. And then Gabriella is so like, she really doesn't know how to enjoy her interests herself. She knows that grit and well she could not get her friend to do it. What is it? Tony? I don't know her name. She knew that she wasn't going to be able to get Taylor to be interested in doing a Romeo and Juliet play with her. Why? Because Taylor was focused on her education and the decathlon and making sure that the school had everything that they needed when it came to the academics and the education of it all. Taylor was focused, okay? But Gabriella had to drag somebody in. Hey, I had this moment with this guy. We sang karaoke. We both kind of like singing. Let me see if I can drag him into doing this play. And of course, Troy, being weak-minded in himself, decides, you know what? I like this girl. I kind of like singing. I kind of want to do it. And they do it. But now what Gabriella doesn't see is that she is distracting Troy. Now you got Troy singing Bet on It while he's supposed to be practicing for his basketball games. You got him missing basketball games with friends. You got him teetering the fence here and there. You distract him from his main focus and his main goals. Hobbies should not distract you. Things you want to do for fun should not distract you from the main goal, which is that basketball, which is sports, which is a way to get out, which is a way to get an education. Troy was not prepared mentally for the kind of strain that being in a play would put on him, and then facing the opposition from Sharpay, who was really trying to emphasize that you should stay in where you're at because you're not even solid here. And if you're not focused here, it's going to affect your relationship with the team, which it did. It's going to affect your relationship with your father, which it did. It's going to affect your relationship with yourself because you're confused. You're doing things that you just never do, that you really shouldn't even focus on in high school. High school is a time when you need to elevate and focus on your strengths and build your strengths. Why? Because Gabriella encouraged him and manipulated him into doing the play. She manipulated him and got him interested because, of course, he was interested in her, but she couldn't do it alone. How selfish is that? Now you've got him distracted, singing Bet on It on a basketball court while he should be practicing. Have you lost your mind? And then at the end of the movie, it's together, 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 everyone. Absolutely not. All blind falling into a ditch. Blind leading the blind. They all fall into a ditch. And the ditch is no status quo.
It just doesn't seem right.
I want the world nothing less. All the glam and the press. Giving me the best reviews. I want it all. That's the issue. Y'all never wanted it all. Can't you see it? You're gonna love me by the end of this video.
But it's summer, Rye. Everything changes.
High School Musical 2 is my favorite High School Musical movie out of the three, okay? And in High School Musical 2, what happened? Troy and Gabriella once again. But the High School Musical East High gang are on summer break. And all of the Wildcats get a job at Sharpay's family's country club. And there they work and do things outside of their work to try to have fun and everything. Sharpay pretty much stops it. But the goal is to work to get that final paycheck at the end of their experience, as well as perform in the musicale that's held. This musical talent show is held every single year by Sharpay's family in their own country club. So when Sharpay reached out to the owner and told them to reach out to get Troy a job, sure, it was self-serving because she wanted to see Troy. But Sharpay also knew about the ample opportunities that her family could give to Troy because Troy was a stellar basketball player and she wanted to see him succeed in his status quo just as much as she succeeded in hers. Imagine my surprise, okay? And I'm not Sharpay, but if I was, I would have a fit. But imagine Sharpay's surprise when she sees that it's not only Troy at her country club, but it's the Wildcats in general when she never even requested or put in a good word for the Wildcats. And here's another thing, which is actually like a real moment. Besides Zeke in High School Musical, all of the other people were like fake nice or didn't even really attempt to connect with Sharpay at all. Like Gabriella played the fake nice role, but all the other girls, they weren't really like checking for Sharpay too hard. Not that Sharpay was really showing herself as friendly. She wanted to stand out. Now she only signed up to presenting Troy with an opportunity to work and potentially meet people that are important. She was sprung on with all of these Wildcats in an environment that's been her environment and one that she's known and one that she's entitled to have fun in and enjoy when the summer comes around every single year. Change is hard and everybody doesn't like to change, and a lot of people can get overstimulated. Have we considered that Sharpay was actually neurodivergent? Now that's a whole conversation for a different day, but I think that Sharpay was not neurotypical by any means because once those kids came into her world, Sharpay was overstimulated. She was angry. She didn't know where to direct her anger. Her mother dismissed her. Her brother put her off to the side. And so she had to go and take control in which any way she saw fit, which was sabotage. And sabotaging the experience that they didn't even earn, nor did they ask or need from her anyways, but got through a third party, which was Troy Bolton, who was really in the wrong because he shouldn't have been trying to give the word around, and whoever hired them should have had some backbone. The mama. Yeah, I'm clocking you, Mrs. Evans. I'm clocking you. Because you should have said, my daughter don't know Aya. Like, I get it. This is like a little summer job, but I don't really need Aya working in the kitchen. What happened to the kitchen staff before the kids got there? We got to work this out. Where did they go? Where was the kitchen staff before the kids got there? Because that's where all the kids went. To the kitchen staff, Kelsey went to go play piano, and namaste. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need some answers. And these questions, these deserve real answers. Now, even despite all of that, Sharpay was still more concerned about Troy and his career. Sure, she wanted him to perform with him. She wanted to do fast songs. Troy was overwhelmed. He really just got into singing. And she said, well, I don't think he's really into that, but if he is, then let's put him in here. Let's get him to sing with me and let's do a whole performance. She was trying to put him on. She was always trying to put him front and center stage. Sharpay set him up in a position for her dad to be able to speak with him, for her parents to be able to mix and mingle with him, to play the golf course, to be able to then sit and dine with potential people that could give potential scholarships, with the potential basketball coaches to give scholarships, to have conversations and to talk. None of the Wildcats had any type of connections to get them talking with different basketball players, to get them talking with different athletes and things of that nature. They went as far as to even invite Troy to one of their practices just to be able to shoot hoops with them and set him up just to see how he would act in that environment, so that when it came time to try to offer him a basketball scholarship, he'd be more than ready. And you know, the only people that were upset about that, the only people were the Wildcats and Gabriella Montez. This is why I feel that Gabriella Montez is the villain, and I'm going to get into more of that why, but I want to emphasize that Sharpay positioned Troy to be in a space and to be in a spot to where he could have really capitalized and he could have really had his whole future together before even entering into senior year of high school. Okay, at this point, I'm guessing that this was like sophomore year summer. Right? So, or yeah, sophomore year, junior year, summer, because it was 4 years, it was only 3 movies, so that's a whole thing. Your future is important. And Troy is over here in the field saying bet on it because he thinks that it's just wrong and that he just needs to bet on himself. No, you need to bet on the opportunities that are presented in front of you so that you can make the best decision for yourself, for your parents, for your money, for your pockets. Face only gets there for so long, okay? You grow. You grow. So Troy didn't really appreciate that Sharpay was trying to put him in a position to be set for life. Meanwhile, Gabriella Montez was doing what she always does. Once you understand this for High School Musical 2, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I cannot believe this whole time I thought that Gabriella Montez was the protagonist. Or am I stupid? Am I dumb? Because now I'm gonna really break it down for you guys. And in High School Musical 2 is really the place to understand this. Gabriella didn't understand that even though there was not a lot of time for them to spend together, long story short, they really weren't supposed to be spending no time together. They really weren't supposed to be sneaking no swims. They really weren't supposed to be running on the golf course, getting all wet in their clothes. They were at work. They had a job to do and they did not do that. That's what Kim Kardashian said. Nobody wants to freaking work these days. Sorry that Sharpay, who may be a little self-serving, had to notice it and report it to Danceforth, but things had to get done because the girls were not working. Okay, and my thing is this, Gabriella, you know that the time y'all spent is going to be less because Troy is working, but wasn't the whole reason Troy working, besides his parents saying that he needed to get a summer job, was so that he could take you out on a really and have time and be able to spend time with you and be able to get his car at the best possible shape to even be driving? High School Musical 3, the car stopped mid-road and they had to push it all the way to his house. So obviously he wasn't doing enough with that car. He wasn't saving up for it. He wasn't putting in work. But he still was trying to earn that to be able to take you out, to be able to be properly dating you. He gave you a necklace. T for trust. And that's the only thing in High School Musical 2 that you did not do. Gabriella Montez did not trust Troy Bolton. And I hated that for him. Because now, once he starts spending more time with Sharpay, and once he starts spending more time with these basketball people, this like they criticize him growing and finding into these new opportunities. For example, a lot of y'all was mad when Troy sent the burger back. But my thing is this, if Troy had not had that many opportunities to be sitting down and to figure out what he actually liked in a meal, how would he know to even send a burger back? He would have never sent it before because he never had the opportunity to sit down and have good fine dining. And once he realized, oh my God, this is so delicious, this is fine dining, but this is not cooked right. This is my preference. That's when he sent it back. Y'all thought that this was some attack at the guys. The burger was undercooked. I can't remember that part, but the burger was not right. The burger needed to be right. So I don't understand what's the issue. What's the issue? He never been in the opportunity to sit down and to be able to enjoy a fine dining meal. And so now he's seeing his burger, he's looking at it, it's undercooked, send it back and make it over. You got teenagers in the kitchen. Where are the cooks, may I add again? So it's like, they gotta get some learning too. How are they supposed to know if they ain't cooking right if you don't send the food back? So it's just me. And then it's like Gabriella demanded that it was her and the Wildcats, or it was Troy and his opportunities and Sharpay. And the thing about that too is this. Why would you want your crush, your boyfriend, to stay in the same spot, to enjoy the same things? You wanted him to push the status quo. Now he's getting the opportunity to push it even so more. How crazy is it in sophomore/junior in high school is getting opportunities to go play basketball with college basketball players and potentially have a scholarship and be put on the radar? You normally gotta go play a bunch of basketball games, get noticed by a recruiter. Recruiter gotta put you on, maybe throw you in basketball, maybe present you with an opportunity. You're applying to 30,000 colleges. Troy had an opportunity past the status quo. But they said, oh, you're not the Troy we once knew. You're not the Troy. Well, God dang it. I don't want to be the same person that y'all knew. Because the same person that y'all knew was confused, not knowing what he wanted to do. And still in high school, senior year, about to graduate, not knowing what he wanted to do. So I hate that criticism. Why couldn't they accept him learning about fine dining, learning what he liked to eat, learning what he enjoyed to do, playing the basketball game, getting more serious about golf, expounding on his talents, and not just not spending as much time with y'all. Y'all not his friends for real. Gabriella Montez, if that's her girlfriend, I don't want it. Then Gabriella does what she is so used to doing, leaving. Every single time in the movie, every single movie, Gabriella Montez leaves. Whether she leaves early, whether she quits, whether she's threatened to leave, one thing Gabriella Montez does is leave. Gotta go my own way. Well, I'm so glad now, Gabriella, that you finally chosen yourself for once versus the Wildcats and versus your relationship with Troy to do something different. And you knew it wasn't nothing because she ended up coming back. It didn't even end up being nothing worthwhile because she ended up coming back. At least Troy comes back with a scholarship. Troy comes back with opportunities. Troy comes back with relationships within the basketball game. You gotta go your own way, you go your own way, and you come back with nothing. But you knew that that would mess with Troy Bolton. You knew that that would mess with him. And you knew that that would cause him to flip the script and see, am I really tweaking and I'm not really myself? And then he goes through that entire point and sings bet on it. And then he says, to hell with the basketball people, to hell with the scholarship, to hell with this performance if I can't have you. What kind of sick, twisted is that? What kind of sick, twisted games are we playing here, Gabriella Montez? Gabriella Montez does not want the betterment and does not want the advancement of Troy unless she is controlling it. It's almost diabolical. And I just am so crazy to think that y'all have not realized this. In 2025, I hope that I'm putting y'all on right now. Because this is insane. Like Gabriella Montez was a villain the whole time. And y'all thought I was gonna talk about High School Musical 3? Oh, well, buckle up. Because we're about to round it up and then I'm about to sum up this video. Because I think I've said a lot that supports my point and my talent. But if High School Musical 3 doesn't further emphasize this to you, you're blind. You're just refusing to listen. Gabriella Montez is the villain. And that's just that.
Imagine having everything we ever dreamed. Don't you want it? Maybe. Can't you see it?
In the final installment of the High School Musical series, the Wildcats are starting to gear up and get ready for graduation. Now, Joy and Gabriella have been giving certain scholarships. There's a scholarship running around. Nobody knows who will get it for Juilliard. People are being considered for it. Troy doesn't want to grow up. Chad doesn't want to grow up. Everybody is not knowing what they want to do. Their futures are not secure, but of course, there's Sharpay Evans. And Sharpay knows that she wants it all. She wants the fame, the fortune, the more, the world, nothing less. All of the glam and the press giving her the best reviews. Sharpay wants it all. And Sharpay actually has an enemy this season. She has an enemy that's greater than Gabriella Montez could ever be. And that is her assistant. There's not too many clashes between Troy, Gabriella, Sharpay. A few here and there. It's more so the ending, wholesome ending of the series in total. At the end, Sharpay even gives her scholarship to Ryan. And then she gets her own movie, Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, okay? But in the final movie, you can still see, you can still peep it, that Sharpay was still yet, even being distracted by Tiara Gold trying to steal everything, Sharpay is still committing to remaining dedicated to the arts, to the crafts, and to the musical. And that's just on sub. Now again, like I said, Sharpay couldn't even focus on Troy, which she has done every single movie. She's always focused on him. She always focused on his career. She even tried to accept it in a way in High School Musical 2 and in High School Musical 3 she does. But Sharpay is fighting an enemy, and that enemy is Tiara Gold. Tiara Gold knows Sharpay, but she knows who she wants to be and who she is, and she wants to be Sharpay, and she wants to take her spot, and she wants to have the double lockers, and she wants it to be pink, and she wants people groveling at her feet. But you cannot copy. You cannot be better than the original. So Sharpay had to do what she had to do in the midst of that. And in the midst of that, Sharpay still takes the opportunity to talk to Troy. She still takes the opportunity to show her love and support for him pursuing basketball and music. What makes Sharpay the real hero of the story and the real consistent and the common denominator is that she knows her future. Sharpay knows what she wants to do. And she's honestly one of the most comforting characters every show. So every movie, you know that Sharpay is going to be focused on being the best, doing the best, and having the best because she wants it all. And that's why Sharpay is almost like a comfort character. Ignoring all the pink, which I obviously love. I'm obsessed with pink and comfortable things. Sharpay is really that comfort of being consistent, of going to what she's going for, and of course bending at the last minute to the will of feeble peers, but she's consistent and she wants to be the best and she wants to be the greatest. Even when they say I want it all, it was taking Ryan. Now that's why I feel like Ryan really didn't deserve Juilliard, because it was taking Ryan a little bit too long to embrace the vision. Imagine having everything we ever dreamed. Don't you want it? Maybe. Can't you see it? Kinda. You wasn't even accepting the vision. Now, of course, she said first audition after college, I get the lead part for me. Well, of course, you got to believe it. But you're not even seeing the vision until the very end when the vision is completed. Sharpay saw that vision, High School Musical 1. And that's why Sharpay could never be a villain in my eyes, and y'all would never make her out to be one. Now, Gabriella, listen, you would think that at the end of the movie, when they're going through everything that they've been through, growing up, rising, and their futures and everything, I just wanted it all to stop. I just do. Girl, you guys are a senior year of high school. This is the longest high school you've been at consistently. Girl, everything must come to an end. You must go into your future. And rather than being honest, first of all, she brought stress to Troy. And she always brings stress to Troy. Why? Because she leaves. She literally leaves. She leaves. Every time she's trying to cause stress. She causes stress to Troy. She leaves. She doesn't like what Troy is doing. Troy's getting opportunities here and there. She leaves. Just walk away. What? Rather than being honest and coming clean with Troy in the beginning, that this was even a possibility for Stanford, why did it take you so long to come clean to him until when you're about to go? Right when you're about to go. You want to tell him all your stuff is being packed up. Your pictures are disappearing off the walls. You play with Troy's heart every chance you get, Gabriella. Still, even in the last movie, you're playing with his heart. You're stressing him out. He can't even focus on making his future because he's worried about you, because you're not even being open about your future, about what you want to do. And it's just like Troy still hasn't noticed it. He's being affected by this. He wants to go and scrap because he's overwhelmed. Because while he's trying to figure out his future, what he actually wants to do with his life, he squanders Sharpay's opportunity. Then you leave. And you wait till the last second to tell him. Not like he could have stopped you, but why couldn't you have been honest? You told Taylor, that's your friend. This is supposed to be your lover. This is supposed to be your crush. You don't want things to end. You think things are moving too fast. You don't want to grow up. Grow up, because you're hindering him, and this is becoming a cycle that happened in every single movie. Gabriella indirectly pushes Troy to focus on the relationship instead of their dreams. The fact that they even had to have the conversation of why are you not telling me about you going off to Stanford, and why you're not telling me this because I didn't want to, because maybe I wasn't gonna do it. Oh, don't tell me you weren't gonna do it because of us. Now he's seeing himself as a burden. Now he's seeing himself as like, oh my God, as a stumbling block, as a hindrance to you. When you could have just went to Stanford, did all that stuff, came back, had prom, made it an easy process, let your boyfriend know, well, can I have this dance? Can I tell you I'm going to Stanford? Can I be honest? Oh, can I be honest? No, you can be selfish, Gabriella Montez. Wow. Once you really get into this, you start seeing, I've been lied to this whole time. I've been made to believe that Gabriella Montez was the protagonist, was the girlfriend, was great with Troy. But now I'm seeing you in your real light, who you really are. You're manipulative. You always leaving. Go. Every time you didn't feel connected to Troy's future, you try to sabotage it and blame it on the Wildcats and being friends and family. Together, 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 everyone. If that doesn't make you understand, If that doesn't open your eyes to the fact that Sharpay was really the hero all along, that she was truly goal-oriented, ambitious, driven, I don't know what else will make you see that. I don't know what else, okay? Because I literally went through 3 movies with you and outlined how Gabriella only held Troy back, only was manipulative and didn't really care about his future, but cared about keeping her future the same for as long as she could because she's so used to it changing and causing chaos and confusion. Acting like she's, fake nervous. Just thinking about me because of callbacks? Oh, I can't do that. I really can't. You and Troy walked up together and signed the paper to join. Oh my God, you guys, I could honestly talk about this forever, but I will end it here, okay? One thing about it, women can be wrong too. Women are not always right. If High School Musical should have showed you anything, it should have shown you that Gabriella was not the protagonist that y'all wanted her to be. And Sharpay really wasn't the antagonist. She wasn't the villain. She was the hero. She was the role model that we needed. When all these other kids are going through chaos, don't know what they do, don't know what they want to be, don't know where they want to stick, don't know what they want to habits, careers.
What?
Hobbies, careers, they don't know what the heck they want to do. Sharpay is a role model. She's a comfort character. And she's the hero. And with that, y'all, I'm signing off. This is Chanel's World, where TV and pop culture is something that we're always going to get into and talk about. And until our next conversation, see you soon. Bye.